Hi everyone, welcome back to Karen Puzzles. I know that it's been a little while, but I'm back, and today I want to talk about dollar store puzzles. Now, before I get started, I want to give a huge shout out to Sai, who actually mailed me these puzzles to my P.O. box. And Sai, even though I'm going to give them a fairly harsh review, I appreciate your support so much. And I want to say a huge thank you for sending these to me, because without you, I wouldn't have thought to make this video. And one more disclaimer, I know that jigsaw puzzles can be expensive and that not everyone has the extra money to be spending $20, $25, even like $10 on each puzzle. If puzzles from the Jigsaw store, that's not right. If puzzles from the dollar store are all that you can afford, that's totally fine. You're still doing a jigsaw puzzle, and any puzzle is better than no puzzle. But I just want to give you guys the most accurate look at what you're going to be actually getting for your money. Also, even though I didn't like everything about these puzzles, I'm still going to link them right down below if you want to check them out for yourself. Okay, now that I've gotten all of that out of the way, let's take a look at this puzzle. It is from the brand Puzzle Bug, which seems like it is a sub-brand of the company Crazy Art. I do like the image, which is of craft supplies. It is perfect for me, but I don't like how the image wraps around to the side of the box, so you never get a full view of the entire thing. The full picture is on the side of the box, but it's really tiny, so you really just have to work off of the front of the box. Now, to open the puzzle, you actually have to use a craft knife or scissors to cut through the packaging. I don't like when puzzles have this because I feel like it just looks really messy and it's really easy to slice through to the cardboard box. I'm kind of a puzzle purist and I like my boxes to stay neat and clean, but this one got pretty ripped up. The box itself is really thin cardboard. It doesn't feel very high quality. The pieces also had a bunch where they weren't totally cut apart properly, and there were a few that I really had to like rip apart. But the thing about this puzzle and other really cheap puzzles is how thin the pieces are. If we look at one of the pieces next to one of the Ibu puzzle pieces, you can see the difference between the cardboard. What happens there is that the pieces don't interlock as nicely as thicker cardboard would, so it just doesn't feel as nice to put the pieces together. But I'll talk about that more in a minute. First, I got to sorting out all of the edges. And one thing I actually do like about this puzzle is how small the pieces are. The whole puzzle is only about 18 inches by 11 inches. So when I did it on my dining room table, I was able to spread out all of the pieces from the beginning instead of having them in layers, which makes it go so much quicker since you can see all of the pieces at once. And when I did another one of these puzzles on a piece of foam core on the couch, I had plenty of room for both the puzzle and all of the pieces. Okay, so now it's time to actually put the puzzle together. And as I do it, watch out for me using my hand to kind of press down the pieces as I go, because otherwise the pieces just kind of fall apart anytime that I add a new section or move a section around. It's really annoying that the pieces don't stay together. You have to keep an eye on it and be really delicate when putting in new pieces, or else it just keeps breaking apart. That's the word that I kept thinking of as I was putting this together. The whole thing just feels so delicate, like one wrong move and it's all gonna just come apart. One more thing about the edge, you might notice that I'm missing a piece. At first, I thought I just missed one when I was sorting them, but spoiler alert, that piece was completely missing from the box. So the quality control is just not great. There's also a ton of puzzle dust, which I feel like doesn't bother me as much as it bothers some people, but it's something to note if that's an issue for you. So I actually really liked the image on this one to do as a puzzle. You'll see that since the image's colors are pretty well separated, most of the puzzle went together really quickly. It was really only at the end where I got a little bit stuck with a bunch of pieces of just beads, which all looked similar, so it was a bit of a challenge to figure out the last little bit. But from when I started the edge to when I put in the last piece only took me about an hour and 15 minutes. Which I think is great for a 500-piece puzzle, since there was one challenging part, but the whole thing wasn't frustratingly tedious. And once I got a good amount of the puzzle put together, the pieces did lock together more, so I didn't have as much of an issue with it coming apart. So, like I said before, I am missing a piece, even though on the back where you slice the box open, it literally says factory sealed to prevent lost pieces. I don't know what happened there. But otherwise, I did enjoy this one. It doesn't feel as nice as something like an Ibu puzzle, where the pieces have much more of a weight to them and are more satisfying to kind of snap together. But I liked the picture, and it was a really quick, easy puzzle to put together. And I like the small size, since it would be easy to travel with or to put together on a small table. So when I take it apart, you can see how the whole thing just kind of crumbles with no effort from me. You would definitely have to very carefully glue this together if you wanted to hang it up. So Sai also sent me a few other puzzles from the dollar store, so I just have a couple things to show you about those. This doors puzzle is from a brand called Cardinal, and I had basically the same issues with the pieces being really thin and coming apart as I put it together. But this one actually came with an extra piece, which is a duplicate of one of the pieces. I mean, I'd rather have that than be missing a piece, but it was still a little confusing as I was putting it together. I did like the image. All of the different colors and doors were fun to do, but it's just really thin cardboard, not as high quality as most of the other brands that I've talked about on this channel. It also came in a box that opens like this, which isn't something that I've seen with a lot of puzzle boxes. It's not a deal breaker, it's just a little unusual. And finally, we have this puzzle of cupcakes, which is the same Puzzle Bug brand as the first puzzle. This one is missing 3 pieces, but I actually think that's my fault, since I had it on a table in the other room and then I slid it onto some foam core to bring out to this table, and in that process a few pieces fell off and I have not been able to find them. But I mean, that just goes to show how weak the interlocking is if pieces are just falling off all over the place. So as I said, if this type of puzzle is the only kind that you can afford or the only kind that's available to you, it's totally fine. But as someone who has higher quality puzzles in my collection, I don't think I'm gonna be returning to these. So I'd love to know if you guys have ever done a puzzle from this brand, or if you've ever had a puzzle that had a piece missing straight out of the box. Tell me all about that in the comments right down below. Don't forget to check out my Amazon affiliate shop for links to all of my favorite puzzles, and I'll see you guys next time.